So one of the funniest things about being in quarantine is having your meals dropped to you 3 times a day. So morning, lunch and nighttime. So breakfast, lunch and dinner. There's a few options that we've got to choose from ahead of time. We just fill out a form and then they get dropped off to us. So you can see we got, I think today, like a bit of macaroni for breakfast. I think it's egg macaroni. The food, look, it's a bit hit and miss sometimes. Like getting scrambled eggs in a plastic container is obviously not ideal. It's not the best. It's not the best tasting, but some of the lunches and the dinners that we've had have been legit. So like anything, yeah, it would be a bit hit and miss, but what I'm most keen to see is compare this, what we're having now, with the quarantine food back in Oz, because one thing I've heard is that the Oz quarantine food is really not the best, and from what I've seen on Insta and the like. So let's just test this out as well. Man, macaroni is a weird thing to have for breakfast, but yeah, it's sweet. I'm all for it. First weigh-in for Joshy today. First hydration test as well. So really pumped to do that. I might give a little bit of an overview later on how the hydration testing works, how the weigh-in works, the whole situation. Obviously, as much as I can do, but I think it's a pretty interesting process. I'm actually all for the hydration test. I'm all for the weight cuts because, I'm all for the hydration testing because it does stop athletes. Athletes do have to be a little bit stricter, a little bit further out. They're not, just dropping weight last minute because they've been a little bit lazy in it, so it's definitely safer. I think one of the most dangerous things in this sport is weight cutting, and people have died from it. So, I'm all for weight cutting, but I'm gonna eat my brekkie before it gets cold. Order some Starbucks. I'll see you on the flip. Sean, you want coffee? Do you want to message me? We just called you, but you didn't answer. All right, I'll call you in a sec. Now, one thing that's quite common knowledge with the One Championship weigh-in process is the fact that there is hydration testing along with the weigh-in. So not only is an athlete required to make weight, they are also required to have an adequate hydration level. So that's seen through the process of urinalysis, and that's done with what is typically done when you're hydration testing with a digital refractometer. So essentially it looks like a pen which is dipped into a urine sample. Now, I'm a massive fan of hydration testing. I think one of the biggest issues with combat sports at the moment is the glorification of weight cuts and athletes being perhaps not as disciplined throughout the lead up to their fight and leaving their weight cut to the last moment and then cutting too heavy. Either that or perhaps fighting in a weight class much lower than what they should do. Can they get there? Yes. Can they step on the scale and meet the weight? Yes. But is it going to be efficient? Not always. There's often you see athletes gassing early and being prone to knockouts because they've not rehydrated appropriately, or perhaps they've overhydrated in an attempt to rehydrate, and it's had a negative outcome. It's had the wrong outcome. So I'm a massive fan of hydration testing. I think it's it forces athletes and fighters to be stricter in the lead up, but it's also a great way to stop dangerous weight cuts. It is a bit of an issue in our sport. It is a bit of an issue in combat sports, and something that I'm not a fan of. Weight cutting, yes. Dangerous weight cutting, no. So we have Josh's first weigh-in and hydration test today, the first of 2. So he's required to make weight 2 days in a row. So 24 hours out and 48 hours out, and pass a hydration test both times. So that's going to be coming up. It is, we're a few hours off now, so it'll be, just a bit of waiting around for Joshy, ready to jump on the scale, ready to get that urine tested, and tomorrow, and then bang, we're on fire. Like this.